How would they know that music contracts was offered? Who would have to tell them that?
Well, prosecutors state that these transactions and the informant's recordings played key roles in linking Lil Durk to the murder for hire plan. There's a guy named OTF Jam.
That was wired.
Very ironic name.
Jam got him
put everyone in the jam.
Did 12 years.
12
got
years.
out, interviewed, said he kept it real, brought him cars, gave him 50,000.
Right.
This. Made mention that ain't no smut on his name. He ain't never been a rat. Caught a gun case. But eventually...
Lil Durk is charged in a murder for hire plot.
Lil Durk's real name is Dirk Bank, and he is from Chicago. This is his mugshot from Florida, where he was arrested last night and is being held without...
And we have some breaking news for you. Lil Durk has just been arrested by the U.S. Marshals at a South Florida airport. He's being held at Broward County Jail without bond. Now, I know you guys are saying that this is crazy, but actually, this has been in the making for 797 days. That's right, the clock started ticking down to Dirk's arrest over 2 years ago.
Search is on for 3 people who police say shot at a Savannah rapper, killing a member of his entourage. It happened in Los Angeles, and cameras captured the after.
At around 5:30 p.m. On this day, Quando Rono and his entourage were at a mobile gas station in Beverly Grove, just a straight across from the popular Beverly station. Unfortunately for Quando and his homies, they were just a few seconds from being ambushed and shot in execution style after filling up the car, and just as they were about to leave the gas station, a white 4-door Infiniti arrived at the alleyway right next to the station. 3 men popped out of the vehicle and began shooting at QU's black Cadillac Quo's car was shot at countless times. He survived the shooting, but his cousin Lil Pob, who was outside the car filling the tank, died right there at the spot. And from the way Quando was screaming when the body was brought out from the car, you can tell just how much Lil P meant to him.
Savannah rapper Quando Rondo, a passenger in that car,
Savannah rapper Quando Rondo was a passenger in that car, frantic at the sight. According to the feds, Lob was killed by these 3 men. 33-year-old Keith Jones, who was known in the streets as Flacca, and another 33-year-old, David Brian Lindsay, who was known as Brown Eyes, and the third shooter was simply listed in the case file as co-conspirator 2. The 3 men arrived in LA just 24 hours before the shooting occurred, when Rondo's location in the hotel was allegedly revealed to Dirk in the OTF group by a longtime OTF affiliate. This was how they found out that Quando was in LA. The feds identified this person who revealed Pondo's location as co-conspirator 4. Interestingly, various sources state that this same person is also a member of the Roland 60 Crips, which is the same gang that Quando Rondo belongs to. Quando is a member of the Rolling 60 Crips too, and this is probably why Quando laid down his flag and put up a post on Instagram to let everyone know he was no longer a member of the Crips. Shortly after this shooting happened, the person who shared Quo's location with the ops knew he was in LA after Quando checked in with the gang members in the city. Word on the street is that the person who revealed Quo's location is allegedly Brick Baby.
And you banging the hood from California. You don't deal with the same shit we deal with in LA. So you claiming this shit for a fashion, and then we really out here dying. Yeah, we feel betrayed. We will book you.
Brick Baby is on good terms with Dirk and OTF, but he is perhaps one of the first people that snitched on Dirk in an interview with Flacco on No Jumper. Brick stated that you can't say slide for vow anymore because of the death of Little Pop. They say you can't say that no more. Why? Oh yeah, because of... Wait, no, like, who died? Say you can't say that.
Hey, you can't say that no more.
Why? Oh, yeah, because of... Wait, no, like,
They
who died?
You can't say that no more.
Oh, because of FVG Cash? Or who?
Nah, because Lil Pop.
Oh! What's that?
But I'm just saying, they just say you can't say that no more. That's the new term, like no more slide for mine.
Word on the street is that Brick might have actually started the investigation with this interview.
And it wasn't until February of 2023 that Brick Baby goes on the internet with Flacco and says, out of nowhere, the world is oblivious to this. We've tied this to a bad drug deal. Remember the story that an arm reached over Quando and shot him? That was the story, right? Brick Baby goes on the show and says, I guess they can't say OTF didn't slide for King Von anymore. And Flacco says, well, what are you talking about? He said, yeah, the shoot, they slid for King Von, OTF.
Yeah.
Now, that's February. March, the feds get on Brick. We don't know this. Jump to June 2023. Feds come to Brick Baby's house. We get the report. I'm screaming, Brick Baby just got picked up by the feds. What's happening? When your court date? Right? We're under the presumption that it's an AK-47 case. But what really happened was they came there to get his cell phone. In the process of him doing the search, they come across the AK-47. Brick Baby calls 600, who's part of the exposers, one of my guys. Say, man, the feds just picked me up. I got an AK case, but they on the other fella. We're gonna refrain from his name because I know that's your friend, right? He's giving us all this information. He said the feds been on me since March, right? So he gives this thing identifying OTF in February, first one in the world. And then when they come in this house in June, they let them know they've been on them since March, but we think it's an AK-47 case, right? Come to find out, when we applied pressure last night on Act Show, he wakes up this morning in a panic. He goes on there and starts running his mouth. Yeah, the feds came in, they took my cell phone, still haven't given it back, right? If you go in there and look at that report, number 4 is a local guy that was dropping Quando's locations.
Oh.
Slow down. Number 4 is a local guy that was dropping Quando's locations. Now, after the murder, when Quando went back to Georgia, what did he immediately do?
Dropped his flag?
There it goes. What was he claiming?
Roll 60 script.
Where Brick Baby from?
Roll 60 script.
What you think the police told Quando?
That the Roll 60s set him up?
Who you think he checked in with?
Roll 60s?
With
Brick Baby allegedly revealed Q's location to Dirk in OTF. It was after this that the OTF members started making their way to Lil Durk had allegedly placed a $1 million bounty on Quando, so there were a number of dudes who were ready to put in the work for the cash. And it wasn't just money that was on the line. The shooters were also offered lucrative music opportunities, perhaps a chance to sign with Dirk's label. According to the feds, an OTF member who the cops refer to as co-conspirator 3, who was very close to Dirk, booked a one-way flight from Chicago to San Diego for 5 people. OTFD, who is Dirk's cousin, ASA Houston, aka OTF Boogie, and the 3 men whom the cops believe shot Q's car, Flacca Brown Eyes, and the last OTF member, who the cops refer to as co-conspirator 2 now.
Wondering why these guys are referred to as co-conspirators 2, 3, and 4, their names have not been revealed yet because some of them might be working with the feds. The feds stated that before booking the 5 guys' flights to LA, iCloud records show that a phone number associated with Lil Durk texted co-conspirator 3 and made it very clear, quote, "Don't book no flights under no names involved with me." Now this would prove to be Lil Durk's first slip-up. Still, co-conspirator 3 did exactly what he was told not to do. He paid for the flight with a credit card linked to Dirk and OTF.
These flight tickets, bought with a card connected to Dirk in the iCloud records, are some of the major ammos that the feds have against Dirk on the same day that the alleged shooters and the other OTF members flew to Lil. Dirk also booked a flight of his own. He flew from LA to Miami 2 days earlier, and then went back to LA on the same day as the shooters. 18th of August 2022, the day before the shooting, Dirk traveled to Cali on a private jet. He was on the PJ with another OTF member, Kevon London Grant, who was known in the streets as CZ or OTF Voney. Dirk couldn't be actively involved in the shooting for obvious reasons. So according to the feds, OTF Vaughn was in LA to organize and make sure everything went according to plan. After getting to LA, Voney allegedly stopped at a sports goods store and purchased 4 black ski masks. According to the feds, the ski masks bought matched the ones that were used by the shooters. Voney allegedly also paid for the hotel rooms that the shooters stayed at for the night. He rented a room at the Sharon Universal Hotel and paid with an American Express card that was allegedly in the name of Guess Who, once again. Lil Durk Voney was allegedly also in charge of getting the guns in the cars that were used for the shooting. The OTF members used 2 cars, a white BMW and a white Infiniti, on the day of the shooting. OTF DD, Voney OTF Boogie, and co-conspirator 2 tracked and stalked Quando Rondo's black Escalade for several hours throughout the city. They were luring in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to carry out the attack. Voney was driving the high, white BMW while Boogie was driving the white Infiniti, and these were the cars the shooters were in. They followed Quando to a clothing store in the marijuana dispensary. Quando Rondo was in the car with his sister and his cousin, a little pop at the mobile gas station in Beverly Grove, when the attack happened. Boogie and the shooters were parked in an alley behind the gas station while Voney drove away from the area. Minutes before the shooting happened, the 3 shooters walked to the gas station and emptied their bullets into Q's car. The cops found 18 shell casings at the murder scene on this day.
They gassed up their vehicle, and as they were getting into their vehicle, a white car approached from the alley. 3 men got out of that car. They were in all dark clothing. They approached, fired numerous shots.
But while they were being sprayed with bullets, the driver managed to start the car and rushed out of the station. And this is surely what saved Quo's life. The black Escalade eventually stops in the middle of West Hollywood, a few blocks away from the crime scene, and specifically not far away from the police station. Someone in the car then called 911, but by the time the paramedics arrived at the scene, Lil Pab was dead. Now,
according to the feds, this shooting of Lil Pab was revenge for the death of King Von. The OTF members allegedly carried out their attack in broad daylight right there in Hollywood, and after the shooting, the shooters ran back to the white BMW and sped away from the crime scene. After about 50 minutes, they arrived at an In-N-Out. By now, they had obviously dumped the white BMW used for the alleged crime, and according to the feds, Voney, Flocka, and Didi arrived in the white Infiniti, while Brown Eyes and co-conspirator 2, who was the 3rd alleged shooter, arrived at the meeting point in a black SUV. Now it was time for everyone to get paid. OTF Didi allegedly paid the shooters right then and there. Flocka, Didi, Brown Eyes, Boogie, and co-conspirator 2 all then flew back to Chicago. The flight was paid for with a credit card that was once again connected to Lil Durk. All 5 men that were involved allegedly in this shooting were eventually arrested over 2 years later. They were all arrested October 24th, 2024, but our story does not end there. Shortly after those men were arrested, the FBI was notified that Lil Durk had booked 2 international flights on that same day. Yeah, it was time to go.
Lil Durk's flights were allegedly scheduled to leave the country that evening. One of them was a one-way flight to Dubai, while the other was a one-way flight to Switzerland. But you've got to ask yourself, why does Dirk need 2 flights? In fact, Lil Durk wasn't going to be on these 2 flights at all. These 2 destinations were just decoys, according to the feds. Dirk was actually in Miami waiting to get on a private jet at 9 p.m. heading to Italy. Lil Durk's alleged very brilliant getaway plan was based on the idea that the entire FBI only has 2 agents. They don't have enough agents to be at 3 airports, and by the time they realized he'd left the country, Dirk would be sipping piccoladas on a beautiful beach in Sicily. But that's not exactly what happened. Lil Durk is being held at Broward County Jail facing a murder charge. Murder for hire always attracts the death penalty if Dirk is found guilty, and the feds push for the death penalty. Some people believe Dirk might have even snitched on himself in an interview with DJ Academics. Dirk stated that no one is saying slide for Vaughn anymore, which was his way of saying that he already got revenge for V's death. Another problem for Dirk is that murder for hire might not be the only charge he is facing in an interview with DJ. Vlad Wack 100 stated that Dirk could also be charged with attempted murder because, as we all know, Quando Rondo was actually the original target of the shooting.
We have a murder for hire, which carries life. Attempted murder for hire, because Quando's in the back seat. And
that was the intended target, by the way, Quando.
And whatever conspiracies for however many people he may have mentioned.
Wack stated that the feds also have wiretaps of Dirk telling his people to take out witnesses he thinks might tell on him.
Crazy part about this is like maybe a couple hours ago, it's come out that they had wiretaps of Dirk allegedly trying to clean up the people he think might tell. Now, if that...
What do you mean by clean up?
Okay.
That could be taken a few different ways.
No, they saying they got wiretaps, allegedly, that Dirk is saying, get these people out the way.
These wiretaps are surely one of the biggest threats that Lil Durk is facing. Word on the street is that the feds have an OTF member who is working for them as an informant, and according to various sources, this informant is OTF Jam, one of Dirk's oldest friends.
Here goes the problem. There's a couple problems here. How would they know that music contracts was offered? Who would have to tell them that?
Well, prosecutors state that these transactions and the informant's recordings played key roles in linking Lil Durk to the murder for hire plan. There's a guy named OTF Jam.
That was wired.
Very ironic name.
Jam got him in the
jam.
Did 12 years.
12
got
years.
out, interviewed, said he kept it real, brought him cars, gave him 50,000.
Right.
This. Made mention that ain't no smut on his name. He ain't never been a rat. Caught a gun case. But eventually he...
OTF Jam once revealed that Dirk took care of all his legal fees when he was fighting an attempted murder case, and after he was released, OTF Jam stated that Dirk gave him a car, a house, and more than 50 grand in cash.
I'm saying, like, that's bro. I'm saying, my whole time in jail, that stayed, bro. Like, before the money, you know what I'm saying? That was bro. Like, I remember when the money wasn't there, first I'm gonna say you 50, I got you and I
still doing that.
Gave my lawyer money there when I fight my case.
I ain't gonna lie, Dirk come through.
All that, like,
Dirk come through with
that's sure. I don't gonna fuck nobody say, like, I know I'm a real witness, like, a lot of
can't say anything.
Like, my whole time in jail, I was straight.
OTF Jam did 12 years in prison for his attempted murder charge. However, it seems after he was released, Jam became sort of a Fredo Corleone. Now, several reports claim that OTF Jam began wearing a wire after he got out. In fact, he might have even been wearing one in the video you just saw. Now, Jam was allegedly wearing a wire for 2 years, working for the feds, informing on Lil Durk. If this is true, he might be the feds' star witness when the trial comes around. The feds seem to think they have Dirk right where they want him. The 5 men who were allegedly part of the shooting are charged with conspiracy to commit murder for hire, committing murder for hire resulting in death, use of, carry, and discharge of firearms and machine gun in furtherance of a crime resulting in death. Dirk is facing a murder charge for hire, and they might even tack on some more charges to his case. If Dirk and his crew are found guilty, they're facing the death penalty or life imprisonment, which means Dirk might be going away forever.